Stay. Okay. I think I did it wrong. Yes, I did it wrong. Yeah. Okay. Oops. So I'll delete history then. What? This takes really. Why is this taking so much place? What is this? Okay. I'm going to toilet. I'm back. Okay, so this is done. Now I think I should do this. Yes. Okay, so I think I should scriptize this. It would be much better that way. Okay. So how should I do that? That is the question. It's not that hard, I think. This is done. This is. Let me rename this too. Files dash debian. Yes, okay, this is better. And create directories, then use git to pull them all instead of using Python. Okay, so let's make this. Let's name this get py.shell. Do I need? No, I don't use. Syntax. Okay, cool. So, do I need to make it an array? No. Okay, so let's do something like this. Actually, let me change this to bash because I will probably use arrays here. Okay, so let's try to proceed now. So there's equals cal. What's cal? Oh, it's cal. Yes, okay. So core was fs is not that important for now. Others phyOS dash package build is not required either because I will pull it from git directly. So directories are cal, core, others, no, neither of those. phyOS dash repo dash debian. Actually, I've set this to git, so I can skip this one too. If I did it, then the names should be the same, so I don't remember what I named it. Let me just take a peek real quick. This, oh, okay, phyOS dash dev dash source. Rename this file to phyOS dot dev dash source. Cool. And okay, so this won't be needed too. This won't be needed. Repo needed, so I can do it here. System themes, and I can skip web 2. I think. Okay, so for the in $doors do. Let's try echoing first. Done. Okay, so it's obviously not like this. How do we iterate on arrays? She does. So I think it was something like this. Maybe? Yes, cool. Okay, so no echo now. mk.p dash p. Okay, cool. $d. Sorry. So this will create all of the directories. And now I need to separate the git between these, and I need to set them an array. So what I mean is, for example, I need to do something like this. So let's create a variable called baselink, and this should be do I need HTTPS? Yes, I think so. So github.com/ft-labs. This will be the baselink. And for example, cal is going to be an array also, and it will have two variables in it. So phyos-cala-config and phyos-calameres-package build. So I will pull these packages. And I need to do this for all of them. So core is going to, for example, have dotfiles. I don't think I have a init-tools record for now, so file it. I don't think I actually have finance, but it's private. Okay, so phyos-dmenu, phyos-downst, phyos-sd, and phyos-xmenu, picom, and the init. Okay, I think this is it. Cool. So others, should I put a space between these? No, it looks ugly this way. Okay, doesn't matter. So others is going to have, actually I think I can omit this. This is not important now because I have merged these. Okay, so I will delete others too, so there will be no others for now. Okay, cool. So system. System is going to have disk, pwmc, no, there's no file name, so phyos-completion and phyos-fonts, phyos- I will only refine for now, sysconf, phyos-sysinstall, install, phyos-system-scripts, phyos-systemd-services, and let's quickly find as well for now. Okay, cool. And now on to themes. Themes will have, okay, phyos-base-themes, phyos-grub- actually I think I can omit this, but let's put those as well. phyos-grub-method-theme, phyos-grub-xamism-theme, phyos-plymouth-base-theme, phyos-plymouth-cmate-theme, phyos-refine-minimum-theme. Okay, this is taking really long. By the way, if someone is going to use it to theme, it looks pretty nice. It has animated GIFs in the screen, but it has KDE dependency and uses like 600 or 700 megabytes. So please know that if you are going to try that. Okay, I think this is it. Okay, cool. And let's make another variable called okay, so I modified this, so I will call here. Here we'll have the packages that will be here. Okay, package build, repo should be here too. I think this is it. Okay, so first I need to create all of these, and for example, let me p in $here pet do So I should clone this now, and how should I do that? I think this should do, for example, I git clone dollar base link, and I need to merge it with, okay, so I should probably remove that slash and continue on with like this. Yes, cool. And for example, if the repository exists here, I should probably do a check for it, so I should probably write a function about it. That makes more sense. Okay, so check, let's call it check git. And I should take this here now. Oops. And now this is okay. If I am going to use this, then the function needs to be on. The function needs to be below. And since I'm going to do something like it, I should probably do this. So this should be 1 now, and I should try to check if the file exists or not. So I should probably try to change the directory there. So let's do it like this, because I want to create a sub shell now. So cd $1, but it actually, if the directory exists, then it's not a problem. I should just check if there is a directory called the variable or not. So -d $1 return. Yes, I think this should be that one, like this. Okay, cool. So then this is going to be check underscore git and $p. Cool. So we make the directories, clone the base repositories, but it's not done because, for example, I have nested repositories here. So for example, after this is done, I should, for example, create a subshell here and cd into, for example, phyOS-deb-source, and after that deb, what did I name it? phyOS-repo-debian. I should do this git clone dollar base. Actually, why don't I use check git? Okay, check git, and variable is going to be phyOS-repo-debian. This is the first one. The other one is, actually, is there another one? Okay, there is no other one. Cool. Okay, so I think this looks fine now, and I should now iterate in the directories, cd into those, and clone each variable in it. So I think I can do that with 2 nested for loops with bash, I hope. So it should I'm not sure, but I think it can be done. So for example, for let's call it P again. So for P in cal core system and themes and do done here. So this will be first and this will be last. So I am iterating in the variables now. So I should create a sub shell here because I'm going to cd again. And so first step is going to be cd$p. So I will be in the directory name now. Cal core system themes. Actually, I have this variable. I'm not using it. Doors dollar doors at. Okay, so cd into project, then clone the variables. But how to be able to take these? Okay, so this needs a map, but that would make everything so complicated. Should I make that a map? I think that makes sense, but no, I don't remember how to use maps. But I think I've made a program sometime with Z shell. I hope they will be similar. So dotfiles, I think, and the file name was, what was that? Important links. So this is an array here, and I have declared a dictionary like this. Okay, cool. I think I can do this again. So okay. I'm kind of confused on how to do that, but so if I declare a dictionary like this, how did I do that before? Declare dash capital A repositories. And for example, can I do something like this then? So repo dict cal equals, can I do something like this? This is the question. Let's try it. Then echo repo dict and cal, I think. Oh, okay. What? Do I need to do it like this? I don't think so. I forgot space or something. Oh, okay, I forgot cache arrays. That's weird. Oh, I think that was in C#. No. Okay, so there's something wrong that I'm doing, but I don't know what. Okay, that's yes, it's the same actually. Invalid syntax, you forget a comma. Oh, that's same. Okay, so it is running it in Z shell. That's weird. If I do this, will it still run it in Z shell? Okay, this is weird. There's probably something wrong with my NeoVim configuration. Echo repo dict cal, so what did it give me? phyOS-color-config. Okay, so I think this is working now. Cool. So repo dict cal, $cal, and I should repeat this for the other ones as well. So cal core system and these. Okay, cool. And 4p in $dorset. Then now I should iterate between these now. So it should be like this for repo in dollar repo dict and dollar at, so all of the variables, but okay, this is weird. I hope this works. So for example, can we do something like this? Oh, hey Jeff. And $p. Oh, okay, cool. So what is going on? Have you started the projects that we have talked? Oh, got it. Are you in university? Are you asking about DWM? Okay. So the thing is, if you want to do something like that, reading via a configuration file, for example, I don't know, lots of programs like pcom, and I don't know, some other programs, there is an issue. So if you do something like that, you need to use heap memory. So you need to allocate memory. You can't do that on stack because it changes on runtime. And issue with that is you need to manage memory perfect, and aside from that you need to include libraries, because you can't parse a text file that easy in C. You should probably use some file like, I don't know, libconfig. Actually, I have used libconfig in DWM blocks. Let me show you how it works. Pcom uses that as well. So 1 second. By the way, that shared library thing, I think that is the best thing that I have done in my life, because doing that kind of thing about configuration is, I think that is the only one that you can find on internet now. There is no application that take the approach like this. So 1 second, let me show you what I have been talking about. So for example, in DWM blocks, for example, I parse the home configuration of the user, and even in here, just for the string, I use a malloc. Also, I malloc these, for example, blocks before, because for example, if there is 3 blocks, I need to allocate 3 block memory, and in the runtime, for example, if the user changed that to 5, then I need to reallocate that to use 5 block memory. I think I will show you about that. So I open the config file here, and even when I open the config files, I think I am mallocing here. Yes, for example, I malloc another string, and so on and so forth. Libconfig is not that hard. For example, I think I've done it in like maybe at most 200 lines. But the issue with that is you need to use heap memory. So you might say that why don't you want to use heap memory if you, I don't know, handle everything correctly, it won't be an issue. You cannot do that easy with DWM. So that is the first issue. Why is that? Let me tell you. So DWM is a single threaded application, and it is fully static. So there is 0 heap allocation in DWM, nearly 0. Just so many little things. So everything runs on DWM is just on stack memory. That is why it is that fast than the other window managers, because it doesn't manage any memory behind the scenes. And for example, hello, you cannot do that with libconfig even if you want. Yes, the goal is actually to be able to do that, because any desktop environment of window manager supports changing configurations via a text file, and you don't need to recompile at most of the time. DWM is kind of hardcore in that way, so I really think about it, and this was the only solution that I thought it was optimized. So the thing is, for example, if you take a look at the variables, everything is static in DWM, and if you are using static variables, you cannot use this in heap, some of the variables, not all of them. Let me show you. For example, this is a static const struct array. Even if you use libconfig, you will not be able to change the size of this, because this is a struct array, and size of this is handled at compile time. And even if you try to do this in a heap memory, so you need to change this array, and you should use a pointer here and create that on heap memory. It won't work, because in DWM's functions, everything is using size of, and everything is using for loops, and you will not be able to know the size of them. So you need to like change lots of different functions in the DWM for it to be able to work. I think people thought about that probably, and since no one couldn't probably find a solution, it couldn't be handled. For example, let me show you what I mean actually. So these are the macros of DWM, and for example, everywhere they are using length. And if you take a look at this, where this is used, for example, this is literally used everywhere in every variable. So you need to change all of these, and you need to create new variables. This is, I think, pretty hard, and it won't make much sense. And there is another issue. Even if you do that, DWM grabs all of the keys at the start of the main function. So even if you change the keys, you need to change the main function because it only grabs the keys at the start of DWM. It never does it again. That is the second issue. There are many issues with that. So you cannot use a text file parser with DWM. You need to change literally everything of it. I handled it with shared library, as you know, and I think that's the only possible solution. And literally there is no performance difference between original DWM and this DWM. And the nice thing is you just compile the variables this way. So, and it's still fully static. There is no heap allocation. I didn't use any heap memory here. And since they use static variables, you need to do weird things like this. For example, I've created some weird functions here. I don't remember where, probably in DWM-H maybe. Okay, not here. Oh, DWM-conf.c. So the first step is to make all the functions that are using these as external functions. Because the issue is, for example, if you want to add, I don't know, some keybind to DWM, and if you want to say, I want to spawn a new window, that uses, I don't know, which function, I don't remember it now. That uses spawn function or something like that. Yes, this function. And for example, if the variable is going to use the spawn function, then it needs to know it. To be able to know it, you need to mark it as external, because both of the sites need to know it. But since they are separate, actually separate binaries, you need to include all of them as external and in both of the files. And to be able to make it all static, the issue is, if you do you know the difference between a static variable and a global variable? They are what is the difference? Where are they stored, for example? And I will show you some weird things with C. No, actually I can. Do you want me to ask some questions? Okay, so the static variable and the global variable is actually the same, nearly the same thing. There is just one difference between them. Static variables gets compiled into that file unit. So if you try to access that variable from another file, you won't be able to do that because it's just special to that file. You can't think of it as like actually private public actually in object-oriented programming. So, but global variables, you can use them in any other C file. And for example, since DWM uses everything static, and some of the variables are since I moved them to another file and I need to use them in DWM also, I needed to create functions like this, actually like Java getters probably. For example, const key get keys, and in this file I am returning the reference of the first variable, the address of the first variable. Because it's static and DWM can't see it, I need to create a function for it. For example, if you try to do something like this in C, let me show you. If I compile this code, will it work? Okay. I'm just asking. I will tell you some important things about C because these will make you cancer. I really got cancer of this so much. Puts is an old C function, comes from ANSI C. It's the same as printf and giving a string in it. So puts just prints a string. So this is actually, you can think of this like this one. They are the same. So the thing is, if you create a string like this, both in C and also in C++, actually, no, you will get a seg fault here. And that happens, and C even doesn't give a warning about this, so the code seems okay. This is really weird. C is a, I don't know, it's a simple language, but a really volatile language. So if you make one small mistake, your program will crash. And you won't see anything, you won't get any errors. There is no errors in C. So the issue is, whenever you create a variable like this, this is created on read-only memory, the data segment. And since it's read-only, if you try to change a character of this, you will get a seg fault. And C won't warn you about this. Always know, if you create a variable like this, a string like this in C, this is read-only and you can never change this. And since this is like this, always put a const prefix between it, before it. And in C++, if you try this, it won't let you create like this. It will warn you that you need to put a const in it. But in arrays, it's not the same. If you define a variable like this, for example, and after this, if you change the, for example, A to H to S, then if you print the variable, this one will work, because this character A is in stack memory, not read-only memory. You can change this one. Yes, I really lost so unnecessary time to be able to understand these. And in DWM, they are really making so many weird string manipulation. I will show you one of that too. You need to understand these well, because let me show you another one. For example, if I do this, and after this, if I try to print A, will this code work? Yes, this will work, but it will only print hello. it will stop at null. And if I do a weird thing like this, this will print world. And you will probably only see these kind of things in C or C++, and actually everyone uses string in C++. Okay, so to understand C better, the first step is, how can I say it? There is no arrays like we think. So for example, everyone tends to think like two-dimensional arrays stored like matrices in memory, or for example, three-dimensional matrices are stored like some kind of different in memory. There is nothing like that. There is no arrays in any language. It's just to be able to humans to understand better. There is only and only variables that have sizes. So in here, something like this happens. After hello, there is a null character, and in C, strings are actually just characters, and they have a start location in memory. So the start location of the memory is wherever the H is. Hello's H, the first one, and all of the other variables are after 1 byte after it. And when you do something like this in C, if you write puts or printf, the compiler will actually, the C binary will going to do something like this. It will print the first character, then go on to second character. So H's address plus 1 byte, and after that plus 2 byte plus 3 byte. So it will go character by character and print each character. It won't print the string at once actually. And if it sees 0, it will automatically stop. That's the case. So for example, when you write strlen to a string, it actually goes and calculates wherever the 0 is. When it finds 0, that is your string length. And when we do something like this, yes, totally correct. And for example, I've written a pretty good split function in C by using this trick. For example, actually DWM blocks works like this. Do you know? There is no memory in Java. You never care about memory. In any other language than C, C++, and a little bit of Rust, you don't care memory in other languages. In Java, you don't even know the difference between a pointer and a variable. For example, when I I give Python and C lessons to a university in Turkey, and the students get really, how can I say it, got kind of mad at me at the third or fourth lecture in C, and they told that why are we even learning this? Python is much more simpler and we can do everything with Python easily. So please don't teach this hard. We are not understanding anything when we enter the pointers lesson. And I've told them, do you know Python well? And all of them said, yes, we know very well. And they are really good students, by the way. And I just asked them this. So if I do something like this, actually no here. So in main there is just a variable called, I don't know, var equals, for example, 15. Then I print that variable, then I call hello function and send the variable in it, then I print var again. So what will this print? I don't know, I am not printing any variable in hello function. I'm just adding Python to it. But let's do it like that, okay? So, like this. 15, then 20, then 15, right? So you said that... No. You are 100% correct. So it prints the variable first, and after that it goes to this function, it adds 5 to it, then prints it again, then returns from the function and prints the variable again. Integers are static variables. By static I mean this: their size is known, so they have a fixed size. Their size never changes. And if you run this function, as you said, it will go 15, 20, then 15. 100% correct. So now I will ask you a different thing, a different question. So now I do something like this. Now I create an array in Python, then I print the first variable, then I send this array to hello function, then I've incremented the variable like before, then I've printed the variable again. So what will this print? Do you have any guess? So you thought the same, right? 15, 20, 15. Okay, let's try it. Weird, right? Okay, so the thing here is, if you are writing Python for your whole life, or I don't know, maybe JavaScript like my senior friends in some companies, they don't know this thing too. So, and they are senior programmers. So the issue happens here is because you need to know actually some low language to be able to know the difference between this. So what happens here is arrays are allocated in heap memory, and always think about the difference like this: whatever variable that its size can change is always stored in heap memory in every language. If you can change the variable size of it, or if it's a series of variables, for example a static array is the same thing as well, it is always stored in stack memory. I'm sorry, heap memory. And in Java, everything is stored on heap memory. And in the background, or Python as well, in the background they are managing this. So you can append variables to this array. And this means that if they did something like that, for example, if they sent an array's copy to each function, it will make the program like 100 times slower, because you need to create a copy of the array over and over again. So in Java and Python, all of the variables that its size can change, except for some strings, they are always stored in heap memory, and their actual reference is sent to functions. This applies for all of the classes and all of the, for example, other variables as well, all of the interfaces as well. So if you do this with a class, it will do the same thing. For example, if you made something like this. For example, class hello, and for example, in it, for example, let's take one variable. So self.a equals a, and I'm deleting this now. And after that, for example, let's create a hello class, and let's give a value of 10. And if you send this hello to hello, let's use this. And after that, if you do something like this, for example, a.a equals 5, then if you print hell.a, it will give you 5. So, except for integers and floats, actually, and characters, everything, all of the variables reference is sended. So the actual variable is sended in all of the languages. In C, this is actually not a must, but in C it is like that as well. But in C, you are the one that handles it, not someone else manages it, because you have access to pointers, you have access to pointer variables. By the way, this applies for all of the languages. It doesn't matter in Java, C++, it doesn't matter. In C++, actually, you can choose this, by the way. I think C++ is the only language that lets you choose it. For example, if you send a class to a function, but if you do not send it as a reference variable, I think it sends the copy of that class. I am not sure of this, but I remember it like that. In C, there is no reference variables, by the way. There is only pointers. Oops. Okay, cool. Do you want to see some crazy thing with C? Oh, you are leaving? But I think you should see this one. Okay, sure. Sometimes, okay. I will write Python code in C, and it won't give any syntax errors to me, and I won't make it as a string. Do you want to see something like this? Okay, in C, with macros, you can do some crazy things. For example, if I define a macro, and for example, if I call this pi and put 3 dots in it, this 3 dots means an array of arguments, a list of arguments, and this is called va underscore args. And if you combine this with something like this, for example, python-c is going to execute this. Then if you put a hash, and after the hash, if you put this variable, this is a weird variable. This will make it as a string. So what I mean is, let me show you. Then if I do something like this, mesela, hello pi. If I create a variable now, and if I set it as pi, then after that, if I write Python code in it, I won't get any syntax errors, and I can just run this in shell, for example, I don't know. Compiler won't cry about anything. This is a really cool thing. And you just need to write you just need to send this command with system and give the variable into it. This is just it. So the thing is, this macro states something like this. Whenever you see a hash bit after some variable, this means that stringify the next variables that will come. And whenever you do something like this, this py macro will send all of these strings. I think this applies for all. I am not sure, but it could be specific to GNU 99 after GNU 99. But I am not sure. This macro is like created like 20 years ago or something like that. So probably if you use ANSYS, it won't work correctly. Then let me show you how to parse strings beautifully in C. Then you can go whatever you are doing. So do you remember the null thing that I've shown you previously, like 1 minute ago? So if you put a null, the print will stop it there, and the size of it will be like that. So I just think about that, how to parse strings in C, and something like this came to my mind. So if I read a string, and if I know the delimiter, for example, the user give a delimiter, I don't know, maybe space. If I replace all of the delimiters, it just accepts one character, by the way. If you accept all the delimiters with null, then store each of the words start address, you will make an array and it won't use any extra memory. So I just made a simple for loop. If the strings I variable is equal to the delimiter, then I made that variable's last character, so the null, this delimiter is going to be null, and the string arrays actually, next variable is going to be the address after null. And this works really smoothly and uses literally like 0 extra memory. I just copy the string that the user gives and replace all of the delimiters with null character, then just store the start points of each word. Even if I print the words, it won't print the next word because there is null delimiters between them. Each of them will stop there. And okay, so I will tell you something later, but arrays and arrays that you created in heap are stored differently in memory, and this is really important. This is in, I think, filelib. I was creating a C repository for the next projects I will do. Yes, this file. I'm sending it from chat. By the way, you could check this. This has really nice functions in this. I've combined this from everywhere. For example, I've taken this from somewhere and kind of make this correct. It lets you use vector in C, and you can set the variable to whatever you want. It supports everything, integer, float, doesn't matter. And for example, if you want to, I don't know, run shell commands in C, you can just copy and paste this. It will both, if you want the string output, it will give this. Okay, then you can go. By the way, have you ever checked drw.c in the DWM source files? Check their UTF-8 decoding and encoding sometime. They are doing it in, for example, let me show you this. They are doing it in 73 lines. So they have successfully parsed UTF-8 characters in just 73 lines. And there is also, I think, includes here. And for example, if you check another C program, let's check tmux, I think. I think Tmux uses C, if I remember correct. Yes, it uses C. Is there UTF? Yes. For example, if you check just another different applications programmed to parse UTF-8, this is 600 lines. They have done it in like 10%, and they are doing the same thing. Suckless is really extreme, but I really think they are enormously good coders. There is no difference. They are doing the same thing, but one dude written it in 73 lines, the other ones did it in 600 lines. This is the difference of optimization, I think. Both of them works. Both of them is correct code, but one is better. Yeah. I think DWM or Suckless, most of the code is the best C code that I've ever seen. But just the core of it, because the other ones are contributed by community. Their core team is really, really extreme coders. Okay, see ya, Jeff. Nice talking to you. Thanks. If someone is here, I'm seeing as 0 viewers now. You can ask anything if you are curious about something. I'm kind of free now. Okay, yes, then I am closing the streaming for now.